Welcome back to the final part of episode 20 here. We've talked about movies, TV, video games, music, oddly enough, artwork. Talking about a lot of different things here. Not books, because it's really, can't really talk about all that much. Not safe for work literature.
Well, there's been a lot of banned books. I mean, that's a whole other show. But...
Yeah. I haven't read any of them. Fuck them. I can't read.
Nerd.
Shame on you.
I wouldn't even listen to the audiobook. God.
Oh, man.
But one of the main ones I figured we could talk about, and we're going to just kind of spitball at the end and talk about anything else. Maybe there is something with books that we're going to talk about, and I'll have nothing to contribute or whatever, but is cosplay. And you might think to yourself, what the hell are they going to talk about with not safe for work cosplay stuff? Well, essentially, this is going to boil down to nudity, because there's really not much cosplay of, like, substance abuse. Like, nobody's walking around New York Comic Con dressed up as a cigarette butt and trying to get kids to do something. Or
They will now.
Damn.
Way to go, Tony.
That's going to ruin my costume idea. Somebody's going to steal it. Alright, if somebody comes to New York Comic Con dressed up as a cigarette butt, you need to find Fanboys Anonymous, because we would be there. And I need to take a picture of you, and a picture of a little kid, and then send it to jail. There is a whole thing, this is the easiest way to start it off, that they specifically need to mention at conventions now, and it's really sad that they do, but it's cosplay is not consent. And
See, I've heard that saying. I know you're just about to, but I've heard that saying, but I'm not sure what it means.
Yeah, me too.
It's as wide of a range of a definition as you could possibly get, where they want to try to make it known to people that you can't just kind of like go up to people and take their picture. But it also applies to you can't like just touch people. Because there's a lot of like handsy people, and at conventions especially, and this is a very broad generalization, but it's true. I've been to multiple conventions now, and I've made it a point to double check, and it's fucking true. There are a lot of very socially awkward people there, and whether you have like the people that do the hover hand, where they're taking a picture, they want to put their arm around somebody, but they don't want to actually grab them, because if they were holding their arm, they'd, I don't know, they'd explode or something. But there are people that don't understand the limits of what the social awkwardness would be for the people that are dressed up in certain ways. So you get a lot of people that are cosplaying as really skimpy kind of characters, or they took a character and they made it really skimpy outfit or whatever. And there's this, mostly people are respectful of it, but there's always going to be those creepy people, mostly guys, that are really handsy about it. Like, well, that girl's dressed up and she's basically wearing a thong, so I can smack her ass when she's walking by. No, you can't. That's harassment. And it's gotten to a point where they've actually had to specifically say that to people and apply it for taking pictures and stuff too, because now, with cell phones, you can just take a picture of anything anywhere. So there's people, getting sneak shots of cleavage, and there's people trying to get up skirt shots and stuff. And it's really horrible. I mean, they're doing it to get attention, or they're doing it to try to flaunt certain body parts or whatever like that for some of the people, but it still is not, an invitation. And it kind of applies to the whole idea that a lot of people say if somebody's dressed up in a slutty way that she's asking for it.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily true.
Right. Now, cause that's kind of what I thought the whole thing meant. Now, as far as touching, actually like physically, that's assault. You can't, it doesn't matter what anybody's wearing. You can't go up and do that to anybody. And I don't think a costume, I mean, maybe there are some people who think, oh, well, they're dressed slutty, I can do these things. Well, those people are fucking idiots and they deserve to be arrested.
Yeah. It's sad how rude and stupid some people are.
Yeah, regardless of what they're wearing. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a convention or at the shopping mall or at the grocery store or at the park. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, That is crossing the line. When you actually make physical contact with somebody that is unwanted, that's crossing a line. Now, going to the other topic, you're talking about pictures. Now, I think that's, in my mind, that's more of, I don't want to say a gray area. Well, I think
much more flexible.
Exactly. If you're trying to, like you said, if you're purposely trying to get like upskirt shots or, taking pictures of somebody, using the bathroom or something like that, that's way over the line. But if somebody's at a convention and, they're dressed somewhere and they're showing a lot of cleavage and they happen to be, in line or over on the other side of the thing, and you take a picture, I don't think that is really outrageous. I think it's polite to ask first. Mm-hmm. But if they're in public anyway, I think, if you can just see it with your eyes, I think it's unreasonable to expect that wouldn't happen. If I were going out in a costume, I would expect people, no matter what the costume is, I would expect people to take my picture without my permission.
Exactly. That's what I...
Yeah. And regardless of whether or not I want them to, I don't think I could reasonably be upset that they did.
Now, if someone was if I was in a really nice costume and someone from across the room I noticed was taking my picture, no problem. But if someone suddenly stood next to me and took a picture and then ran away...
Yeah, I mean, there's certain ways to do it.
Something like that has happened.
You can be a creep. You can do it in a nice, friendly way, and like, oh, cool costume, click or whatever. It's, I've been to a few things where people have been dressed up in cosplay, and yes, it's polite to say, oh, that's a really cool Final Fantasy costume. Can I get a picture with you or something like that? And if they say no, you leave them the fuck alone.
Yep.
If they don't want to, fine. But at the same time, if somebody's across the room and they're taking like a group shot or something, then I don't think they have really a huge right. Because when we go out in public, we're being photographed and videotaped all the time, by security cameras and different things. And like you said before, everyone has a phone in their pocket that can take pictures and video. So I don't think it's really outrageous to not expect to be having your picture taken out there.
Especially if you're in a costume
right.
that costs you $500.
Yeah, if you're bringing attention to yourself like that. I mean, but like I was saying, there's ways to do it in a smart way that's nice and friendly, and there's ways to be a creep. You don't just walk up to somebody, put your phone right on their chest, take a picture down their blouse.
If you do, you have balls.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get yourself slapped or arrested. But so there's smart ways to do it, polite ways to do it, and there's jerk ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple people that really they make a whole career out of this kind of stuff. Jessica Nigri is one of them, and if you walk around a convention and those kind of people are there, they are wearing revealing outfits and stuff. But the difference is a lot of them literally charge you to have pictures taken with them. But then there's people that'll just stand behind them and take a picture of their ass. And that's like, well, if you were doing that outside of a convention, that would still just be terrible. But, they're also trying to make money, and you're kind of screwing them over. And some people have a problem with it in general. Some people think that there shouldn't be anything like that. I guess that's where mostly the not safe for work stuff comes when, like, is it, I guess, art for, like, a valid reason to have, like, nudity in cosplay, or are these people just attention seekers? Like, a lot of people could argue it's one or the other. I mean, you look at some people that put a lot of time and effort into their costumes, and I cannot speak from experience. I dressed up as fucking Superman for New York Comic Con. It entirely entailed me to wear a Superman t-shirt and a suit, and that was it. Still got a couple pictures, though. But they asked me for those pictures. They didn't just snap a picture of my crotch or something. I would have been fine with it, though. That would have been flattering. But, is it justified if somebody, like, spends a lot of time and effort in making a costume that is very, very revealing and it's kind of, like, obvious that they're getting the attention? Or is it something where there's a limit, and if you were, you're dressing up as quote-unquote Pikachu and you're really wearing a yellow bra and a Pikachu hat, that's just ridiculous?
Well, I am going to say a part of me is, if you're going to wear a costume like that, goddamn well what you're wearing, and you want that attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, yeah. I think you said, is it more artistic or is it more attention seeking? And I think it's an overlap. It's both. It is artistic. It can be artistic. It can be very much for attention. I think it really depends on the individual person, what percentage of that, but I think most everybody who does that, is both. They want to do it for the artistic reasons to have fun, and they also like to get the positive attention. So I don't think it's really black or white.
And also, like, if you look at how, like, Halloween costumes are, even for, like, 10-year-old girls, they're already really short and revealing. So I feel that a lot of people, whenever they get a chance to dress up in a costume, they're going to push it, They want to look really sexy. They just don't want to be Pikachu. They want to be, like, sexy, slutty Pikachu. And
it's so fucked up.
Yeah, it is, but that's what it is. Like, last Halloween, I couldn't really believe that I saw a bunch of little girls, like, dressed, in, like, really tiny skirts. Some of them, like, even revealing a little bit of their undergarments and heels.
That's so sad.
And it was just like, whoa, you guys don't even have your periods yet. Like, what are you doing?
Well, with Halloween costumes in general, I mean, I think it's weird that, if you go to the stores and look at the outfits, for women and girls, it's not like witch and mummy and werewolf. It's sexy witch and sexy mummy and sexy werewolf.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. I have such a hard time finding Halloween costumes because I don't want to dress like that. Mm-hmm. I actually, like to go outside, and I don't want to be frozen to death.
Or hounded by people taking pictures.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Trying to give off the impression that you're at some party because you want to get laid or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's going to be terrible for the people that can't fit in those costumes.
Oh, they don't really care.
Well, I've seen some cosplayers that, they can fit into, they make extra large sizes.
Yeah, they make them fit.
Yeah.
Let me broadcast this, by the way. Harley Quinn is not 400 pounds. Stop it. I'm so fucking sick and tired.
That always seems to be the one, too, yeah.
It's always Harley Quinn. And oh my god, it drives me nuts because it's like, not that, like, I want to see everybody, wearing skimpy clothing and stuff like that. I mean, I appreciate more of, like, a crazier, intricate costume than anything. I think, like, the sluttier costumes are kind of cheap. And if it's done well, if it's, part of the costume or something like that, then that's kind of cool. Like, somebody, when we went to the Atlantic City Boardwalk Con, somebody came dressed up as the new Suicide Squad version of Harley Quinn. And that's very, just like cut off boy short kind of things and stuff like that. And she did a damn good job. And I was like, wow, you've only used like 2 reference pictures of on-set photos from a cell phone, and you made this costume. That's pretty damn good. And then there's like, well, I can put on Jokerized face paint and be slutty Joker and just, show massive cleavage and people will pay attention to me. And it's like, no, don't do
It's a cop-out. It's easy to do. Yeah.
It really is.
And you don't see as many men doing that, but men do get, this kind of thing. I mean, if you're a muscular guy, a lot of the women will pay a lot of attention to you in that kind of regard. You can just walk around with no shirt on and you're, Superman after his shirt got torn off, and people are like, oh, great, I want a picture, And you're like,
I actually saw a picture on Tumblr, and I'm sure. Which one is that Pokemon that looks like a tree?
Sudowoodo?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was this very, very, very muscular guy, like fit, not 1 ounce of body fat. He was wearing a tiny little bit of Speedo, brown Speedo, and he just had like a hat with that Pokemon on. And part of me just really wanted to applaud him because I just feel like we need more of that. Like, I'm tired of seeing slutty-ass versions of every single character being female. Like, give me some slutty male characters, too. Even if it's a Pokemon. Even that costume was so dumb, but he probably, like, just decided on doing that, like, the night before. I don't care. It was awesome. It was nice.
He better have taken advantage of it and walked up to people and said stuff like, I think I'm evolving, and like, Sudowoodo used Harden.
Yeah.
I choose you.
Oh, man.
He should have had 2 Pokeballs. There goes another costume idea of mine. No, I would do better dressed up as, like, I don't know, Snorlax.
So speaking of Pokemon, did you want to bring up the one thing that Caroline was talking about?
Give us a preface to this, Caroline,
Yes,
because
please
I didn't
tell
watch
us.
this yet.
I did not
Okay.
either.
But as soon as you mentioned it to me, I was like, we have to talk about this.
Yes. Okay, I'm pulling up the article right now. So as I was gingerly looking through my Gossip Bucket app, which is just like gossip app.
That's a lie. She was searching for this.
No, I wouldn't lie about it. Okay, I'm very proud of it. I think it's genius. But anyways, I found this porn parody. It's just a trailer. I don't think it's out yet, but it's on Pokemon, and it's called Strokemon, and it's beautiful, and put the 20 foot's the link for you guys to see because I feel like it's really magical and everybody needs to see it. You have Ash, but I think his name is all their names are different. I forgot.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the easy one, right?
Yeah, it's not like that. You have Ash, you have Misty, you have Brock, you have
You know what Brock's
you have
name?
James.
Oh, yeah.
Misty, Meow, and Pikachu. And I mean, it's porn, but it's really funny, and I just think it's genius. Like, I feel like it took them a while to come up with something like this, and I just really like the name Pokemon. Like, because it just makes sense. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I got a feeling if anybody watches that, it's not going to be beautiful.
Well,
I'm
there's
guessing
one
it's-
scene in the trailer where I think Pikachu is giving a golden shower or receiving one. That
I
was
don't remember
like
him
mad.
learning that move in the game.
Yeah, you can only learn 4 moves.
I kind of went with, like, Thunderbolt and Quick Attack, not Golden Shower.
Well,
But they do classify the move sets. It's PP.
Ah.
oh, it's not Pikachu. It's called Dikachu.
Pikachu used Hound.
Dikachu. Ash is Gash. Instead of and they use it Wood Rocket.
Prepare for trouble.
So brilliant.
Oh, God, it's a DP scene. Make it double.
Oh.
Are you sure you want a writer on this, Tony?
Shut up. People aren't supposed to know that. This whole thing was orchestrated to be a big promotional thing.
I thought so.
Oh man, I think it's from the same people that bought you the porn version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
There's a
Which
point of
is-
that, too?
Yes! It's really funny too. I
I
haven't seen the
hope-
actual porn, but the trailer is kind of magical.
That's what I was gonna say. I haven't seen any of these because I know they do a lot of the porn parodies of mainstream
There's
movies.
a porn parody of everything.
But I
Yeah.
think it's more for comedy than it is for eroticism, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Oh,
people are
yeah.
really, you know.
I know
Which-
that
I mean, I don't
China's
know.
She-Hulk and something.
Well, this is one thing that I wanted to bring up too sometime during the discussion. Now as good a time as any. As far as the porn parodies, they have just about everything. It brings me to, of course, the internet's famous Rule 34,
Ooh.
which, I thought we had to mention that sometime during the night. And I believe it's something like if it exists, there's porn of it.
Yeah, that's the
And
rule.
so
Yeah.
if, you can find just about, any cartoon character, any fictional character. And if you search hard enough, you're going to find some fan that drew some really obscene drawing. And it just goes to say where our culture's at, A lot of them, it's funny. I think it's funny.
Well, Marge Simpson poses for Playboy, and then
Yeah.
other people are feeling a little bit left out, so they got to draw pictures of, like, Lois Griffin and whatever.
Yep.
Very creepy. I don't understand this culture. I also don't get, like, the hentai kind of stuff. Like, there's a whole, geek culture, people are really into like the anime porn stuff, and I mean, I don't understand that at all. I don't see the appeal. But then again, I'm also not going to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy porn where Sudowoodo is Groot. I'd rather watch the Marvel film than the porn film.
I will admit that when I really started liking anime when I was a teenager, a lot of them my friends got from the porn section because they were actually movies, but they had just enough of that where
that they couldn't have the kids rent them.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, watching anime from Japan, uncensored and stuff, doesn't really affect me, but
I mean,
there's a lot of sexual content in them.
Yeah, because it comes from Japan or wherever, and like there's ones that have mostly story, but they might have one or two graphic scenes in there, enough to classify it as adults only.
The
tentacles.
The tentacles,
yes.
Sorry. Yeah, the testicles.
Tentacles. But then again, you have the ones that are just completely all about the sex. It's different levels or different varieties of that. You can't really draw. I guess you do have to draw the line somewhere, but there's different varieties of that, I guess. So
yeah,
your friends weren't like getting into that because of it being in like the porn stuff, were they?
No, I'm sure one or two of them were, but.
Well, this is, then that's also this is going back to VHS days too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you couldn't just turn on YouTube and, find anime. So if you wanted to get anime, you had to drive to your local video store and rent a VHS. So you kind of had to make do with what you could find.
In that back area with the curtain.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we did too was when one of our friends turned 18, he would go and get the most ridiculous, stupid porns he could find,
Just
and we
for laughs.
would and bring them back, and we would watch them and laugh our asses
Yeah.
off. The best one I saw was a Power Rangers one, where the pink Power Ranger was a midget, and it was the funniest thing I had ever seen.
Did Rita throw the staff down and say, "Make my monster grow"?
I don't remember.
Missed opportunity if they didn't.
I just remember laughing my ass off.
Oddly enough, I want to watch Power Rangers now, but not that. I got the Go Green Ranger song stuck in my head.
I'm sure you can find it.
Background song when they're, counting the thrusts.
Oh God!
Bringing it all back.
Yeah. I think that's the sequel.
Oh.
Hey, I tell you what, if they would have released a legit Power Rangers porn from the cast, I would have watched that immediately. Amy Jo Johnson is still gorgeous. That pink Power Ranger. Every boy in that time frame had a crush on her. Still, would not want to see any kind of like cartoons of that though, or whatever, if people were going to do that. But porn parody cast here, I'd watch it. Rule 34 is very odd, though. I'm glad you brought that up because there really is like this whole subculture of like the geek spectrum where, I mean, people are really, really into that, and like there's some other kind of stuff like that too. Like I don't know the name of it, and every time I say it, everybody always says it's the furry thing, but it's not that. It's when you go to like DeviantArt and you see a lot of people that draw like anthropomorphic wolf people that are naked.
Oh yeah,
Why
yeah.
is that all over the fucking place?
Because a
Yeah,
lot of people like it.
I don't get that either. I don't get the whole furry thing.
Yeah, I don't either.
It really confuses me because I'll look for like, I don't know, wrestling ring, try to get something, make a logo or something like that, and it'll be like, here's a picture of like a wolf guy, and they're really muscular and buff and like, huh? Like, that's all I'm gonna say about it. It's just like, what? Like,
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, if people enjoy that and they want to see that, more power to them. I mean, it's not hurting anybody, so I don't really understand it, but
hurts
let
my
them.
soul.
Yeah,
Aw.
it confuses me a little bit, but if that's what they like.
When I look for a picture of any animal or character, cartoon character, anything, they'll eventually come up as
Oh
sexual.
yeah.
That's true.
So keep that safe search on, folks.
Or don't. Be adventurous.
I hate it when I look for pictures of Mew. That just crushes me.
Oh, poor Mew.
I don't know. Ditto would be more traumatizing. Cosplay side of things, though, what that originally boiled down to, the nudity aspect with that, of course, is the biggest thing. Violence, though, actually does come into play a little bit with it, and that's when people have stuff to do with weapons.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of rules when it comes to conventions, and any worthwhile convention will have rules in place where they say you can't bring in certain things because you can't have people walk around with big friggin' swords that are actual katanas and stuff.
Right.
It's far too
Plenty
dangerous.
people have them.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
They do. It's uber dangerous to walk around with that. It's different if you're, what's the name of that? I never played the games. Is it Final Fantasy things? The person's got a sword that's like 3 times the size of their
Right.
body.
Yeah.
You leave Cloud
Yeah.
alone.
Cloud's his
Yeah.
name?
Cloud Strife, yeah.
That sounds so fake. Cloud Strife. It's like Sword Mick Hero. People carry around a big foam thing like that. Okay, that's cool. Or a plastic one or whatever like that. But there's a lot of people that really get so hardcore into this kind of stuff that they have like metal ninja swords and they have ninja stars that could cut you if you rub up against them and stuff. And some
Yeah.
people bitch and complain and they think that's, not an issue, but it is. Like, I have no problem walking around people that are dressed up as characters that I don't give a shit about or whatever like that. I'm not going to pay attention if I don't know who the character is or something like that. But I'm also not going to know which people are going to be, like, set off in certain ways. And you get a really strong, devoted fan base, and you get somebody who's, like, arguing back and forth who's going to win a fight, Superman or Goku. I don't want to be around weapons when these guys are arguing.
Yes, I've seen some
Yeah.
of those arguments. It's scary.
It's really intense. And it's different if you are around a group of people and they're all dressed up as Ghostbusters, because you know that they're going to kind of do shit because their proton packs do not work. But if you've got people dressed up as Batman and they have batarangs, they can throw one of them at you.
Well, there was, I forget if it was a comedian or somebody was talking about they were at some anime convention and there was a stabbing. And I think this actually happened. I forget.
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
It was a stabbing, but it wasn't a knife. It wasn't a sword. Somebody, I think it was they were arguing over one of those topics like Goku versus Superman or something like that. Or I don't know what the argument was, but ended up getting stabbed by a mechanical pencil. They had a mechanical pencil and they're like, oh, fuck you. And, stabbed with, and that like made news headlines.
Yeah, it got deep enough and it was, yeah.
So, violence can happen, folks. Be careful.
Was that part of the cosplay, or did they just have it?
I think they just had
It was during a,
like a panel or something.
yeah, during a panel when they were sitting down.
Oh, see, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
I was like expecting the mechanical pencil to be like they were cosplaying as Peter Parker when he's still stuck in school or something.
Take that, bully.
Yeah, the evil villain, the eraser. It's an
Aw.
actual villain. That's sad. But there's not really like drug use kind of stuff with cosplay and everything, but there is one other kind of thing that's cosplay sort of related and whatever, and I don't know why I think of it when it comes to drug use and whatever, but it's close enough that I combine these kind of things together and whatever. There's like another subculture of that is not geeky in the sense that everybody necessarily, if you like movies, you tend to like TV, and if you like comic books, you tend to watch comic book movies, and you know, you play video games a lot if you're in this kind of fan base and stuff like that. But oddly enough, and I didn't even know that this was a thing before I started going to conventions, there's a lot of burlesque.
Really?
A ton of burlesque when it comes to cosplays. And I'm somebody
That's
who
hot.
I don't like burlesque stuff at all. I don't like tattoos on anybody in any situation ever. I kind of just don't see the point. Whether it's like I was in the Navy and I got a Navy tattoo, or like somebody passed away and I got a tattoo, and I'm like, well, can't you just remember him otherwise? Like, I'm very the person who should not be speaking out against or, you know, for burlesque or anything like that. To me, it's an own separate art thing. Like, you know, there's more art to that than there obviously is like a strip club.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of equate them, it's the same in a lot of ways, with a little bit of a masking of like artwork. Like, some of them are basically strippers and they're just saying that they're artistic and stuff. But that's where I think that cosplay gets really not safe for work, and you're starting to get more into just flat out porn.
Yeah.
Well, it can be suggestive for sure.
It depends, because, you know, one of my hobbies is belly dancing, and I know some of the women who do it also do burlesque like dancing, and I've seen some of them, but they're really actually dancing, and you know, some of these women are in their 50s and overweight, and it's
Dressed up as
not
Harley Quinn.
and you know, they're dressed up in like nylons and, you know, semi seductive clothes, but it's not sexual at all. It's really dancing and performing.
Yeah, I think it depends on what do you say is burlesque, I think. Because some of the burlesque art is more of suggesting something. It's not about showing you all their goods, but it's like playing you with the illusion that they're going to do that, but they never really do it. I mean, I take pole dance classes, and even though I suck, I've been to a bunch of showings of artists that do it, and it's hardly ever really sexual. It's more about
Athleticism.
yeah, and even
Yeah.
the ones that dress very like burlesque, like there was this one who had pretty much like lingerie on, but her piece was all about this really painful breakup. And just like the fact that she was dressed provocatively, but the whole mood of her dance was something very deep. It was almost like the way she was dressed was just to show how like naked her emotions were. And it was never like her boobs were out. No, she was like covered. It was very sexy, yes, but it was just like beautifully done. And yeah, I mean, just like with anything else, people do take it too far, and they can just like put pasties on and be like, oh, I'm burlesque actually, you know, this
Yeah.
is just like, but it can definitely be just being sexy and being classy at the same time, and you still have your goods like covered up and, you know, looking good.
Yep, pole dancing is another thing I know a lot of people do, and I really think it depends on where you're performing, how you're performing,
Right.
and
What you're
just
performing.
yeah, and
Hopefully not on.
you know, you should be able to tell right away if it's actually supposed to be porn-like
Oh,
or an
yeah.
actual art form.
Very
What's annoying
true.
is the people that pass the one off as the other. And
Yeah.
it's the same kind of thing as when we were talking earlier about cosplay. You know, there's the difference between somebody who is dressed up as, say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a character that would come off like, actually, you know, off the top of my head, Black Widow. Black Widow wears
Oh,
a
yeah.
Yeah,
jumpsuit,
yeah.
the skin tight, you know, black jumpsuit kind of thing that if you have literally any ass, it's going to show.
Yeah.
But you might be dressed up as Black Widow because you like the character, not because you want to show everybody your ass. And then you see other people dressed up as characters, and it's like, did you really need to dress up as the Dead or Alive characters from the beach thing? Like,
Right.
you know. So there's the cosplayer burlesque people that you know, if you go to like a costume convention kind of thing, or like a what do they call them? Like the contest things that they do. That's the word, contest. You can see people that, you know, this guy's dressed up as Spider-Man, and he spent $400 on this costume, whatever. And this guy is also dressed up as Spider-Man, and he tried to do it himself, and it's not really, you know, great, but he wanted to make a costume, and that's cool and whatever. And then you can see that when it comes to the burlesque side of things, and there's like, it's kind of manipulating some of the people. If you are on the opposite end, you can be, you know, I'm a burlesque person, like what Caroline was saying, you know, if this is a performance piece about something or whatever, and I'm like a cosplayer, burlesque person that's trying to prove an artistic thing, but then you see so many people at these conventions, and it's like, I'm going to use the term burlesque to just get attention, kind of, and I've got, you know, the type of body or whatever that I want to show off, or I just want to kind of get the attention, and I want to do it in a way where I don't have, like, I have some kind of an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should be able to tell immediately if they're what they're doing.
Now, some people argue about the whole, well, that doesn't count with the cosplay is not consent thing. That still does. I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
that is 24/7 for everybody in all situations and stuff like that. Even pseudo-wudo. You don't just grab the wudo.
I was just gonna say, like, you're not just going not with that brilliant pun, but I was definitely gonna say, like, you're not just gonna walk up to him and grab his junk. You're just not gonna do that. You shouldn't do that to a girl either. It's just because she's dressed that way. It's just never right, people. Even if you're the most socially awkward person in the world, don't do it. Don't do it.
So what topics are not safe for work in geek culture that we didn't talk about?
I could bring up my crocheting if you want me
Oh,
to.
yeah, that's true.
Because you definitely couldn't make this stuff at work or in some places. There are, there's a geek culture in yarn. Any movie character, cartoon character, video game character, you can find patterns to make, to recreate them. You can find patterns for parts of your costumes for conventions. But then there's also patterns to make penises and little balls. And one is that's really cute, and I might actually make is a stuffed animal sperm with a smiley face, and he's cute.
That's awesome.
But then there's also a vagina wallet that I've seen.
That's so cool.
There's a little penis warmer for your husband or boyfriend. There was a uterus purse. One thing that's really popular is a little penis and balls cover for your lip gloss.
That is so cute.
There are a lot of those. And yeah.
I'm guessing a lot of the arts and crafts kind of have, you know, their own subculture of things like that.
Oh yeah, right now I'm working on a little tiny Link from Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Link have a large penis on him or something?
Yeah,
No.
I was trying to figure out how to word this.
And you know, I have 14 Hello Kitty little guys out there that I've made.
Oh, yeah.
There's an obvious joke I can make with that one.
I know.
Oh, go for it.
Do I need to make the pussy joke?
I think you just did.
Yeah, I got 3 of them.
Oh, boy.
So, crocheting, I never would have thought that would have been one of those kind of situations, but Rule 34 and whatever the rule would be for that, if there is a way to incorporate porn into it,
Yeah.
we'll find a way.
I mean, I guess that counts as not safe for work because you wouldn't want your boss necessarily, depending on where you work, you wouldn't want him to see you crocheting a giant penis during your break.
And a lot of people, they do that during breaks and stuff.
Yeah.
What if the boss came over? Hey, your break's over. Get back to work. Or like, I don't know. I can't imagine a situation where that would be safe for work in any environment whatsoever. I don't think any boss is going to be like, oh, you make like you crochet things. Oh, that's a nice hat that you have there, and that's a nice set of balls.
I guess if you worked in the porn industry, some sort of like porn studio, that would be much appreciated, especially the penis warmers.
Oh, definitely.
And probably the purse.
Yeah.
You don't have any pockets. I mean, go on. Where else are you gonna put your stuff? You're filming. We mentioned books. That's one last thing I think we should probably just talk about. I have no notes written down about books and stuff like that because I ain't gonna read and shit like that. It's too much effort. But not safe for work books. The only thing that could come to my mind would be 50 Shades of Grey. That is something that caught on incredibly, and I have no clue why, because it sounds like it's utter trash. But maybe that's why. But even when it comes to like romance novels and like the trashy romance novel things, it's a whole geek culture. People love that stuff. I don't see why, but
Yeah, I
have
don't
any
either.
opinions about them?
Well, the 50 Shades of Grey got so popular. I think bosses were reading it and didn't mind seeing anyone reading it on their breaks. And it was just everywhere.
It really was. I mean, yeah, it's they were selling it at Walmart. Like, it was everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
They can sell that, but they can't sell Sheryl Crow CD.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
was just gonna
Oh,
say
God.
that.
Oh, God.
Or that, what was it,
One of the Nirvana
Ronda
ones.
Rousey's book.
Yeah, exactly. Ronda Rousey's book.
It's too violent, but check out this one. That one's violent and sexual.
Horrible.
And
Anybody
poorly
actually read
written.
it?
No,
No.
I have no interest.
Anybody watch the movie?
God,
I
no.
did.
Nope.
You did?
I did.
Is it as terrible as it seems like it would be?
It's so bad. And I was so mad that I went because my friend was like, hey, let's go watch. What was it? It was like
First
a
49?
Was it? I don't remember, but she said that she was gonna see like this action movie, and it was actually Valentine's Day. She's like, I don't want to spend it alone. And I'm like, okay. So I went there, and then she had already gotten my ticket. It's like, guess what we're gonna watch? And we went. The only good thing though is that we did go to watch it at this theater in Harlem. So so that was pretty cool because everybody was not taking any shit of that movie. Like, if anything happened, they're like, what? And then we would talk back. No, but it was really, really bad. And I watched a lot of really bad, like, B-horror movies, but that movie was so stinky bad that it's just like, the only thing that was fun about was watching in Harlem, but everything else was really, really bad.
I would buy the ticket if I could watch it in Harlem. You sold me on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, like that, like, people kept it real in there. It was awesome. When it ended, everybody was like, what? It was great. It was great. But the movie, no. I can't believe they're making another one. It's bad.
There's an audience out there, and we said it earlier, I think it was in part 1. Some people are weird, and some people get catered to. You cater to the weirdos, and if it gets you money, it gets you money.
Yep.
Yep.
But I think it's good to end on a note of a movie, wrap that up and everything like that. So last thing we're going to do here is just plug some stuff, and that's terrible for me to say after 50 Shades of Grey. But Caroline, anything you want to plug other than Pseudo Wudo?
Oh, man, that man. I will plug him everywhere, anywhere. Well, I'll just say check out my website, CZ as in zebra, OF as in X.com. And look for an article that hopefully I'm going to finish, which is going to be up in Fanboys Anonymous. And it kind of ties up with this whole situation of how, how far a character will influence somebody to commit something bad. So, yeah, just look for those things.
She's also going to be ranking the top 10 best porn parodies.
Nice.
Oh, I will totally do it. In a heartbeat.
You could totally post that on the website. I'd be fine with it.
I will, sir. I will. Stroke him on. I will watch it. I will find it and I will watch it.
Angela, anything you want to promote?
No.
Calen, anything on your end?
Yeah, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at Calen Ferris.
And for Shaun, who unfortunately had to leave us before this last part, you can check out if he decides to stream something on Twitch. I can't remember what his Twitch account is because he's got Shaughnessy and then a bunch of numbers on like totally different random things. But if you check Happy Pope Gaming Productions on Facebook, he will have links to that kind of stuff all over the place. And Shaughnessy 2K37 is his Twitter account, if I'm remembering correctly, so he'll probably post something there as well. From my end of things, if you guys don't know by now already, for all the Fanboys Anonymous things, check out all those social media accounts and all that other kind of stuff. If you are interested in wrestling, smarkoutmoment.com is the wrestling website for A Mango Tree, and we've got podcasts there as well. We've got the All Talk Show, which is, if you thought that this was crazy, holy shit, listen to the All Talk Show. We talk to plants, we get people calling in telling us to talk about porn. Apparently everybody finds it in the woods, but that is just the most random thing possible, and we do those live on megapowersradio.com completely randomly. You will be notified of when we decide to do them on the Facebook page, facebook.com/alltalkshow, anytime that we decide to do that. And just follow anything else under A Mango Tree by following that and Tony Mango on social media, and you will see everything else that's going on. So thank you to everybody on the panel this evening. Thank you everybody out there for listening. Make sure that you leave your comments below. Tell us what you think about all the topics that we brought up here. If you were offended, sorry. Explain why. If you were not offended, awesome. You've got the right idea here. We're not supposed to be just offending people and stuff. But not safe for work is something that is obviously going to rub people the wrong way. If you have any opinions about certain things that should be that we didn't mention, or some things that we did mention that why is that not safe for work, that kind of thing, you can always just leave your comments on fanboysanonymous.com or on YouTube, or you can leave a review of our podcast on iTunes or Stitcher or anything else like that. Share us, like us, blah, 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 blah. You guys know that stuff by now. So that'll do us in for episode 20 of the Group Meeting Podcast. This meeting is adjourned. See you next time, everybody.